What's up, YouTube? We got another project going on today. If you saw the last video from Choco, you saw a brief clip there where the Jeep caught on fire. And as a result of that, my hood cable melted and I didn't realize it. So when the fire first started, we popped the hood, got under the hood, got the fire put out, no problem. Got the hose fixed. Got the Jeep started back up, on up the trail, stopped again and popped the hood, or tried to pop the hood, and it wouldn't pop. And so what I figured out was that it had melted the sheath to the actual cable, and then when it cooled down, it was just stuck, and there was nothing I could do about it. So I ended up having to cut the hood cable. I just stuck my arm up between the radiator and the front of the engine with some wire cutters, cut it, stripped some wire, stripped the sheathing back, and then pulled it and was able to get the hood open, and then took it off for the rest of the event. So I'm not putting a hood cable back on it. I'm actually putting hood pins on it. So I'd never really thought about that as being a reason why to do it. I mean, it looked cool, but not something I ever really thought about doing until that, and then I couldn't open the hood, and I was just like, you know what, rather than replace the cable, and you know, if the hood hadn't opened when it was on fire, if it had just melted or got hot enough that I couldn't pull the cable, who knows what would happen. So getting hood pins. So stick around, we're going to show you how to do this. These hood pins I got off Amazon. They are made by a company called Quick Latch. These are not the cheapest hood pins you can get on Amazon. There are less expensive ones, but the reviews were kind of mixed. A lot of people were saying that they were they would get stuck on the cheaper ones, so didn't want to deal with that. So I picked these up. These got great reviews, and let's see what it's going to take to install them. So we got back from Choco, and then that following weekend was Jeep Fest, the Sheriff's Jeep Fest here in Pickens County. And I wanted to take this to the show and shine. My hood pins didn't show up in time, so I ratchet strapped my hood closed just so I could drive it over there. And then I took the ratchet strap off once I got there and popped the hood. So get the headlights out and then get this off, and we'll be ready to put the studs in and then mark the hood. Alright, so just got a 13mm deep socket. Go right up through here. Alright, now we have access to a hole to put the stud in. Alright, so the kit comes with all the hardware. It's got 2 nuts and 2 washers per side. So you put a nut and a washer on, stick it through, and then a nut and a washer up from the bottom. The hole, this is 2 layers thick right here, and the hole in the bottom is about the size of the washer. I'm pretty sure if I put this on there and tighten it, the washer will pop through it. So I need to try to find a slightly bigger washer. That should do it. That's why you don't throw hardware away. Oh no. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to go do the same on the other side, and then I'll show you how to mark the hood. So I've cleaned off a spot here on the hood about where I think this is going to hit. And I've got some trace powder spray, and this stuff is just kind of like a white. It dries real powdery, so you can just kind of do like that. Let it dry. May have to put 2 coats on, we'll see how it looks. But then when I pull the hood down, it should leave me a nice spot right where that pin touches. And you can do the same thing with paint. You can put a little bit of grease on it. Basically anything to just transfer that mark. If you just slam the hood down, hit it hard enough, I'm sure it probably dent the metal. Just right there on the edge of it. So now what I'll do is punch that with a center pin, or I'll punch it with a center punch. And the hood pins, because this is 2 layers thick here, and these aren't going to be tall enough to go through both layers, so I have to cut a hole out in the bottom big enough to get this nut in there and just tighten it down on the top layer. So what I'll probably do is drill a pilot hole all the way through the hood, and then run a bigger hole saw on the bottom, and then pull the hood down and run a smaller hole saw through the top. After double checking that, and it's a good thing I did, I found that for whatever reason this hole is closer to the fender and closer to the grill than the other side, so my hood pins wouldn't have been in exactly the same spot. So I measured the difference from the edge of the fender to the ball when it was still in here, and then from the front of the grill, or the back side of the grill, to the ball. Figured out what the difference was and just moved this hole in and back some. So I got a new, I marked it there with a punch, and I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and drill that out a little bit smaller, straight through, but a little bit smaller than the pilot on the hole saw bit. This is a good center mark. Almost, there's like a kind of a 3rd layer in the middle, so you gotta cut through that too. Ooh. Almost. There it is. Hey, there we go. This side fits great. This side needs to come down just a little bit. Oh, I just realized I took off the part of the latch here. I took off this part of the latch, and that's what the spring press is on. So I'm gonna have to probably cut the cables and stuff off of it and put those back on so that the spring can still push up, because I'm pushing the pins down and the hood's staying shut. I'm like, okay, what's the hold up here? Well, that's what it is. I got nothing for the hood to push on. So alright guys, that wraps it up. This is a super simple install, not a whole lot required here. I'll put a link down in the description of the exact hood pins that I use, and you can get these in black if that's what you'd prefer. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just need some hole saw bits, a grinder, and pull your headlights out. So very straightforward, super easy to do. And if you've never considered it, definitely put some thought into putting hood pins on your trail rig, because if a similar thing happened to you, you had a small fire, melt your hood cable, now you can't get the hood open. It's not a good situation. So like always guys, thanks for watching, and maybe one day we'll see you out on the trail. Peace. Need to pull them down about 1/4 of an inch. And aside from that, aside from that, that's not cool.